All right, I got this figured out. This is the tutorial for editing drums, both drum patterns and individual drums. So just like we did in class today, I'm going to go a little bit slower than that, but not too much slower because it takes a long time to watch the whole thing. So what I have here is a drum recording session similar to what you might have already. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of everything in it just so I can show you how to import drum tracks. Like if you wanted to bring in the ones that I recorded of Tom's playing and edit those, then you will know how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take everything that's already here, highlight it all, hit Command A to select all, hit delete to delete it. Now my session is empty, and I am going to come to the folder where I have the Tom's drumming recording tracks, just like I put in the Google Drive for you. Remember, you need to download them first and put them into your session folder so that they're there and can stay with those sessions. So I've done that. This is a folder called Drums, Recording, and Editing Demo, and inside of that is going to be all the sessions that pertain to this, and this folder with the drums that Tom's recorded in it. So you can create the same thing before you even get started. Set this up. All right, so I'm going to grab the kick drum, and I'm going to drag it right into the kick drum track right there. Doesn't have to be in the right spot yet. I'm going to grab the snare drum and drag it into the snare drum track. I'm going to grab the overhead left and drag it into the overhead left track, and the overhead right and drag it into the overhead right track. Now I'm going to select the grabber tool, which is Command 4, and you can see it's switched up here to the hand tool, and I'm going to click and drag each one of these to the beginning of the session like that. I think I got them all. Yeah, tight. I'm a little obsessive unnecessarily. I'm going to go back to the selector tool. That's Command 3. You can see it switched back over here. And also note that I'm in slip mode. You want to be in slip mode. I'm going to click anywhere and play. Everything's in phase. It sounds perfect, so I know that everything is aligned perfectly at the start of the session. I'm now going to select Option A to show all, or to zoom to all, to zoom to fit. And that includes vertical zooming as well. So these waveforms, you can do Option Command brackets and make the waveforms huge if you want to see all that. Option A brings everything back to the default show all, zoom to all position so you can see the whole thing. While we're here, I want to point out the keyboard focus, a feature which I mentioned today in class. It's this AZ. It's lit up. It can be turned on and off. When it is off, single key functions like R and T for zooming don't work. They do something there. I don't know what's going on, but it's not doing anything. But command brackets still zoom, and all the dual key hotkeys still work with that off, but it's slower. So they give you the ability to turn that off so you don't accidentally hit a key and do something that you didn't mean to do. It's a little safer, but it's slower. So with it on, keys like T will zoom in and R zoom out, and other keyboard focus oriented things like B to select separate a region, as opposed to Command E, which is the 2-key hotkey version of that. So those single keys will function with the AZ, or what's called keyboard focus button, instantiated or turned on. So now I'm going to again do Option A to show all. I'm going to hit the return key to go to the beginning of the session, and spacebar to play. Cool. The first thing I need to do is find a pattern that I want to cut. So I'm going to click here and zoom in with T, and zoom automatically zooms around the selection point. So wherever you select, you can zoom out and zoom back in. It puts that in the center. So let's zoom out and find a starting point for this session, for this pattern. It's definitely this kick drum here. Let's zoom in on that. That's it right there. I want to get real tight with it. Go ahead. Now I'm going to hit the B key to break it. But there's a problem. It only broke the kick drum track. So what did I forget to do? I forgot to create my drum group. I'm going to go ahead and hit Command Z to undo that. to create, I need all the drums to be in the same group because they were all recorded together. They all need to be edited together so it sounds correct. So I'm going to click one of the tracks. This one's already highlighted, and then I'm going to shift-click the bottom one. You'll see that in the tracks list, they lit up as well. I could have clicked and shift-clicked in the tracks list as well. It would have done the same thing. I'm now going to press Command and G together to instantiate the Create Group dialog, and I'm going to call the group Drums. All the other default settings is fine. You can see what's going to be in the group. Now down in the lower left-hand corner here, we have a group called Drums. It can be turned off and back on again. Of course, we want it to be on for this entire thing. So now, with that group on and my selection point still where it was, I'm going to hit the B or Command E keys. I've broken the session. I'm going to zoom out with R. I'm going to play from where I am there. All right, so I'm going to stop and play again. So I think right here, this next 2 bars is pretty cool, but a little bit different. So I'm going to zoom in on this kick drum. I'm going to take it right to the end of this pattern. And that's good, and I'm going to break that. Play on from there. This time I'm just going to take a 1-bar pattern here. Interesting. Yeah, we'll go on that one right there. Break that. And this second. So we have some ghost notes in there that sounded pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and get that. Now, break that. Now I'm going to zoom out, or Option A to show all again, and now I've got a couple of different things here. This one here, if I double click it, it highlights the section. I hit spacebar to play it. That's nothing. That's where we started. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. All right, now I've got looks like a 2-bar piece. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. A 1-bar section. 1, 2, 3, 4. With a hi-hat in it, pretty cool, and a 2-bar section. Slightly different feel and some ghost notes in it. Now I'm going to go down here to where I see some hits, multiple things happening. That's a fill, so I know I want that, and the end of it is it's got a splash on. It's got a crash symbol on it, so I need that. I'm going to break it there. Not really zoomed in enough for that. All right, so I want that. I'll get this one. Close enough for this. So I got this piece. So I am going to break it in here just in case, even though it's going to cut off in this case. It's going to cut off the symbol. All right, man, now we've got enough. All right, great. So now I'm going to edit this into a little song thing. I'm going to do away with, this is just, I'm going to double click that. Oops. If you triple click, it selects the whole track. Let's see, double click that. So nothing really happening here that I like. So by the way, with the selector tool, which is what I have right now, when I double click, it selects the entire region. With the grabber tool, this one, a single click selects the region, because if you click and hold, you're going to actually move that whole region. So a single click is all it takes to select that, and with the grabber tool. If you double click a region with the grabber tool, then it will bring up the naming dialog, and you can actually assign a custom name to that. So I could name these as groove 1, groove 2, 1-bar piece, fill. I could name this fill here like that, and then it changes that whole thing just in the kick drum. So I'd have to do it, even though they're grouped. As far as the naming of the region's concerned, I'd have to do each track if I wanted to do that. Let's see, I can undo that. But that's how you name individual regions if you want, and then they show up over here in the regions list with the new name, so you can find them easily. All right. So now back to the selector tool. I've got some stuff. I'm gonna double click here and get rid of this section. And I think that this. I'll get that one last thing right there. All right, cool. Now I'm going to click. Remember, wherever you click, it zooms around it. So click in and zoom in. I'm going to get tight and B and show all. All right, cool. Now cool. I'm going to get rid of this. Just checking. Yeah, I don't like that. So we're good. We're going to get rid of all that. Now I've got all this stuff. I've got a cool groove here. Everything is 2 bars except for this 1-bar piece right here. So let me grab that 1-bar piece and just put it like way over here. All right, now I've got a starting piece right there. I'm going to, now I told you could slide these if this is all locked to the grid, which I'm not asking you to do for pattern editing right now because this wasn't played to a grid, so it will drift, it won't stick well. But if it was all locked to a grid, I would just grab and they would lock up next to each other in perfect time. When you don't have a grid like that, but you have your patterns all cut up like this, you can use shuffle mode, which is a little dangerous because when you delete things in shuffle mode, it slides all the remaining things together and closes up gaps and slides things all around crazy. That's why you can lock out shuffle mode so you don't accidentally select it when you're editing. And it's also probably why it's red to warn you. But I'm going to turn on shuffle mode. First, I'm going to play this pattern here. Okay, now I'm going to play this pattern. All right, cool. Now I'm going to use shuffle mode, click and drag this pattern. I'm going to grab this pattern with the grabber tool and click and move to the left. And as I move to the left, you see it just snapped there, and it says it's going to go right here. It butts it up next to it, it butts it up next to it automatically, so I didn't have to do it visually. I'm going to shift click here to grab them both, select them both, and play. Beautiful. All right, that's cool. I'm going to take that. I'm going to get out of shuffle mode and go back to slip mode and get that out of there. Oh, I'm sorry. Undo. I had both of them selected. So I'm going to put that there. I want to put this fill pattern here next. So now I've got it where I want it. I'm going to go back into shuffle mode, and I'm going to shuffle it right on there. And then I'm not going to select them both. I'm going to play it like this. All right, cool, man. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this one in place. And then I'm going to put the, I can't put this in place with shuffle mode. Oh, yeah, I can. If I jump over it, puts it right there. And then I'm going to do this one. And then this one. Now I'm going to, by the way, I'm clicking on slip and shuffle this way, and you can see grid is here. But just like command 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 switches between these up here. Option 1, 2, 3, 4 switches between these. So I'm going to start talking about that in terms of hotkeys now. So option 2 for slip mode, option 1 for shuffle. So option 2, slip mode. I'm going to also do command 3 selector tool, and I'm going to click here and I'm going to play my new edited drums, pattern edited drums. Nice. That's it, man. I just created a whole new groove. Now, I need to bounce that for the assignment, so I'm going to double click here and hold shift down and double click the last one. Now I've selected the entire thing. I'm going to do option command B for bounce to disk, and I am going to do it as a MP3 interleave stereo. 44.1 is good. This is going to be drum edit dash pattern. It's good enough. It's going to go right into my bounce files folder, which is exactly where I want it to be. Bounce. 320K is awesome, full quality. Drum edit pattern. It's my ID3 tag. It bounces that out. Done. Great. Now I'm ready to do the individual drum edit. And for that, we can just leave this right as it is, and I need to do a file, save as. It's going into the same folder. You can see well, guess what? It's perfect time to do this. I should have done the save as drum edit pattern first, and I forgot to do that. And that's okay. As long as I don't click save, which I haven't done, I didn't write over my drum recording session. Now, granted, everything is backed up, so even if I'd have done that, I could go into my session file backups folder and get the original drum recording session back. But I didn't click save, so I'm good. So I'm going to do that save as now. So I'm going to call this drum edit dash pattern, right? Drum edit pattern, it's going to go in there. Save. And immediately, so I'm good, now I got this. And immediately do another save as and change that last word to individual or hits, whatever you want to call it. Individual or individual hits. That's good. Drum edit, individual hits. So you can see drum recording is still there. Drum edit pattern is now there because I just did it. And this one will be in there as well. All of them use the same bounce files folder and the same audio files folder and everything. So it's all collectively together under the grand folder of drums, recording, and editing. So I'm going to go save on that. Now you can see the name of the session is changed to drum edit, individual hits. And I'm going to actually undo. I'm sorry, it's under edit, undo, right there. See, Command Z. I'm going to undo all the way back to the beginning of the session. So I could maybe I could open up the other session and go back that way, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep hitting undo because I think I get like enough. Yeah, I went back way too far. Shift Command Z to redo. I went faster than the computer could go. And there, if I do one more redo, it does that. So undo, and there I am, back to everything being aligned at the beginning. Cool. Now all I need is a couple of good hits, man. I need to zoom in. There's a nice snare right there, so I'm going to zoom in on that snare. Not much else going on in it. Zoom in. Break. Zoom out. Find the beginning of the next hit, which is here, and break it there. So now if I double click that and play that, it's just a snare with a ghost hit. You can see the ghost hit right there. It's that. Cool. Now I need a good kick drum. Let's see, where's a good kick drum? Ooh, there's a nice big one. Oh, but it's got a hi-hat in it. Don't want that. Oh, that's good. That's a simple hi-hat. All right, we'll go with that one right there. Break that. I'm gonna slide forward to the. Well, all right, I'll zoom out. I need to go here. Break that. Let's zoom out. Play the snare. Yeah, I'm in loop mode, so it's playing that. I can go to options, loop playback off. Cool, it's got hi-hat in it. So I've got two. I've got a kick and a snare, and I think for this, that's all I'm going to do for now. Option A to show all. I don't know what else there is. Yeah, for this, he doesn't hit the toms. So I don't have any toms to hit. There is a China. All right, let's see if we can get that China. That'll be cool. It's down here in the overhead, see? But we'll get it. We'll get it without the transient of the kick. So I'm going to go right after the transient of the kick, right on the attack of the China. I'm going to break it there. Zoom out. And the next hit is here. Zoom in to make sure I'm before it and break it there. All right, cool. Now if I play that, it's kind of cool. It gets cut off, obviously, but it's kind of cool. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to double click and delete that. See, show all. I'm going to, I don't think I want anything else. I better get that symbol, which you can see it here. We're going to get right after the transient of the kick and right before the next hit. That's good enough. So I got some kick and crash in there. All right, cool. Take all that. Let's see. Take all that and get rid of it. Take all that. Double checking. Yeah, okay. Get rid of all that. Now I've got to get this stuff closer together, so I'm going to put stuff here, right? Now, while I still had all my drums, option A again, we'll zoom that all in. While I still have enough drum here to play and get a tempo. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember what I said earlier. I want to set that tempo in the grid here, as close to what this guy played, as close to what Tom's played as possible, so that I can use it to put my individual hits on and edit a totally new beat. So in order to do that, I need to turn off this automatic conductor track that forces Pro Tools to follow a predetermined tempo track, which I talked about being right down here. So we don't want to follow that. We want to set the tempo ourselves. So I'm going to turn that off. And now I can click on the number 120 here, which is the default tempo. And now I'm going to tap the T key on the keyboard in the time with the tempo that I just felt. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. T, 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 T. So I don't know. I'm going to go with 113. It bounces around a little bit. I'll hit return. Now that's instantiated. Now, when I select grid or option 4, see option 2, slip, option 4, grid, you can see the grid lines get darker when grid mode comes on. The problem is the grid lines aren't the right thing. The grid lines are set to samples, and I want them to be bars and beats. And then I want them to be not triplets, and I want them to, I don't know why that defaults to that, and I want them to be eighth notes. I could do 16ths, but eighths is a little bit cleaner for this. Now, that's good. Now when we go option 2 for slip mode and option 4 for grid, you can see the grid comes on and the eighth note line appears. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I'm going to move everything. I'm going to do Command 4 for the grabber tool. I'm going to move everything down here a little bit out of the way. I'm going to do click, shift click, move everything down here so that I can move it into position to build a beat. Option A. There's my whole session. At the beginning of the session is 0, 1, 1, and so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Let me set I've got samples showing here. I want bars and beats to show on the line, and I'm going to take away samples. So that's, maybe you can't take away samples, actually. Maybe you can't. Oh, yeah, no, samples is grayed out. I can't get rid of samples. That's required. So anyway, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3. Those are your bars and beats. Those are your measures. All right, here I go. I'm going to select one of my things. I'm going to start with a kick drum. There's my kick. Now you'll notice right there, the grabber tool now has a cut line on it because I have, it has several things. If I click and hold on it, you'll see this. It does time, separation, or object, and I clicked it twice with the hotkey, and it made it switch to the separation tool, which means if I grabbed something that wasn't separated, it would separate it. If it was like if I selected a part of a region and then grabbed that, it would auto separate it and move it. So I don't want that. So I'm going to reselect time. That's the default one, the main one that I want. I could also hit Command 4 several times, and you can see it cycles through all the options. So there I'm at the top. All right, I'm going to grab that kick drum and put it at the beginning of the track. Now, just like the beginning of the song Happy by Pharrell Williams, it's got 3 kick drums, so I want to duplicate that. And now if I go to the beginning and play, now it's got 4 kick drums, doesn't it? Duplicate it one more time. Now I'm going to start a groove. So the 5th kick drum is going to be there, and then I want to follow it with a snare. Where's my snare? So I'm going to do snare. Doon, 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 back. And that is going to be here, and there's a little bit of a gap. And I don't know why there's a gap. It should be, oh, it's because this one is not on the grid. It missed somehow. There we go. We'll just trim that back out. Trimmer tool, Command 2. Back to the grabber tool, Command 4. Oh, I see. I shouldn't have done that. They're all a little bit, let me put this out of the way. They're all a little bit short. So I actually need to go back into slip, option 2, because I see a transient poking through there. Command, option 4, Command 4. Pull that off. It needs to be there, and this one needs to be, that one, those are right. These first 2 were right. And now we're good. Now we want 1, 2, 3, 4. This should be on the grid there. And there should be a little bit of a gap because the file is, the file is a little short. Now we need a snare. So it's kick, 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 snare. And then I'm going to do, I'm going to just click any one of these kick drums, and I'm going to do Command C. I'm going to click now onto the here and do Command V. And then I'm going to duplicate, but I want to slide this over to be here, so it's a double kick. And then I'm going to grab this and copy, and then Command 3 and click here. And so I'm going to get doon, doon, back. Should be right. So let's see if I got that right. So let's go home and play it. All right, I need to move that over one. I lost track right there. So you can see how critical hotkeys are. I'm switching between selector and grabber tool in order to move things and then place my cursor and play. All right, cool. Now, let's zoom out a little bit and take all of this and move it way out of the way. All right, going home. Now all I want to do is double click this, hold shift and double click this, and then Command D. And I should have this. Not quite, so I got it in the duplication command, put it a little early, so I want to grab it all, Command 4, and move it here to the next beat, I think. I'm not sure about that. So I need to undo because I did the wrong thing. I want to do not that snare drum, and I just want it to be here. Let's see if this is right. Got it. So now I've got that right. I've got the cool. That's great. Now, you could be done right there, but I'm going to go ahead and slide down here and see what other cool thing I have here. Yeah, I'm going to grab that one. I'm going to finish this off by grabbing this and putting it in place right here. And let me see how I am in time. So I need to put one more of these things. I need to put a kick. I need this one, because this pattern is a, yeah, so I need this pattern and this pattern. I'm going to Command C to copy that, and then I went to the selector tool, and I'm going to put that, since I'm in grid mode, all I had to do was click near that blue line, and it just locked right onto it. Command V to paste that pattern, and then that's right, and then I want to grab this pattern and put it right up next to it, and I should have this. And that needs to go a notch earlier, right? Is it there? Let's see. Something's wrong with that. Let's undo that and move it. Do I put it on? That's not going to be ready. No. Oh, guess what? I need it to be in between, but I'm in 8th note, so I can't do it. So I need to go to my grid here, and I need to switch to 16th notes. By the way, this grid button, if that's turned off, the grid goes away. You need the grid to show up. And with the grid in grid mode, without the grid there, watch what happens. It still locks to the grid. You just can't see the lines. So that's no fun. Let's undo just in case I screwed that up. Let's turn the grid back on. Let's get this in place, and I think it needs to be right there. Perfect. Now, I need to finish it off with one of these. Yeah, and you can tell that I don't have the sustain, so that's life. It goes right there on the end. Right, so if I had some other sample, I would place it on the end. And to be funny here, I'm going to switch these up. I'm going to put this one here and do this one here. And then I'm going to zoom in on that, and I'm going to trim this back so it's right here. And then I'm going to do duplicate, bop, out, and end it with this one. So let's hear what that sounds like. Yeah, there you go. Tell you what, move it here, click that, duplicate all 4 of this so I get 8. Cool. Well, we know what that's going to sound like. Selector tool, home, show all. I'm at the beginning. Let's look at the entire pattern. Let's see what's left here. Nothing. That was just some random piece of audio. Get rid of that. Return to go home. Let's play my whole pattern. Perfect. That's exactly what I want. That is awesome. It's completely different than what was originally recorded. It can be cleaned up and fades applied and get the clicks and pops out of it. It can be actually be used like that. So, but that's how you edit drums, and that's how you edit anything. We'll get into adding fades later and cleaning up the transitions and what's called smoothing, where you fill the gaps with audio and then smooth with crossfades and everything, so it actually sounds all cohesive. That'll be later, but this is how you get the editing process done. So now I need to bounce this. I'm going to double click the first region, hold Shift key down, double click the last region, Option Command B, and I'm ready to go. And this is going to be I'm just going to call it Drum Edit Hits for convenience. You can see it's going into the bounce files folder as it should. Everything's right there. Click OK. Boom. Done. Now I can quit Pro Tools. And it's going to say, do you want to save the changes to that? And I will say, yes, I do. Boom. There it is. I've got 3 sessions in my overall folder here. I've got Drum Edit Individual Hits, Drum Edit Patterns, the original drum recording. I've got the drum files that I used in the session. I can close that up. I've got the 2 bounced files here, Drum Edit Hits and Drum Edit Pattern, ready to go. And I can drop them in my Google Drive folder and be done with it. So there you go. I'm sorry that was so doggone long, but it is absolutely thorough. Feel free to, fast forward, rewind, watch it again, follow along, do your own thing. I cannot wait to see what you cut your drum recordings into. Please be creative. I will totally dig it, and we'll share it in class and rock out. Because you're going to apply compression and EQ to these later. You could even apply other effects like distortions and delays and get nuts with it. So do something cool. It will be beneficial to you later on. So that's it. Bye.